This is a replay from the Alfredo Size 3 stream over on Twitch. Links in the doobly-doo. In these streams, we're talking about openers, how to set up, how to pick your list, how to play out turn one. Enjoy.
Welcome to Roberto's Special Creations. How Not to Lose Instantly at Marvel Crisis Protocol. Episode 3, I guess.
On YouTube, it'll be episode 3.
On YouTube, it'll be episode 3, and if you're a real one and you're watching this, of which there's probably at least one, then this is sort of episode 2 for you. Today, we are going to talk through, once again, the opening of a Marvel Crisis Protocol game, which includes the draft, and then the first turn, and how to not instantly fuck that all up. So this time we have two rosters that I'm not particularly familiar with. We have Asgard, which is going to be sort of our POV, and then we have against X-Men. And this is being recorded on January 22nd, which I only say because it's relevant because we're well past the scenario pack now, so we have the new versions of the scenarios or the crises, not the dusty old ones. So I have everybody here. Maybe you guys can tell me why we chose this matchup, because this was a Vince idea, and what we're kind of looking at here, and then we'll go into the rosters themselves.
Absolutely. So one of the big feedbacks, at least on YouTube, with this series was that they wanted to focus more on problematic openers and how to deal with like those problematic openers. Like, because before our framing was kind of half problematic openers, half I'm new. What do I do here?
Right.
So one of the things that I have personally struggled with is the new Skrulls shape, specifically against X-Men. So I have not hidden it that I am a Shield player. And on paper, Skrulls looks very good for Shield. It's 20 threat. We love 20 threat. And it has the ability to push people into our guns. But ultimately, it feels like nobody's playing the scenario fairly. And Shield is only strong on it when people are playing it fairly. So I picked out one of the lists that I think plays it the least fairly. And if I'm having problems with this, I think other people must be having problems with like kind of the X-Men grab jank. It's not even jank, it's just good.
Yeah.
On Skrulls. And so I was hoping that Nate could take us through, like, build a list, show us the problem, and then we can kind of figure out how to play against it with a more neutral, no gimmicks on turn one list. And then if we need to bring in some kind of turn one gimmicks to fight this, we've selected a roster that's like able to do that.
Word. Cool. And so, sorry, can we say again why we're doing Asgard specifically? So we definitely got why we're doing X-Men, but why Asgard?
Okay. So I picked out Asgard because they're fairly neutral. Like, this is the list that we talked about. Pat potentially playing at LVO. It's an Asgard list that doesn't have Angela, so it has almost no turn one tricks at all as far as just grabbing Crisis safely. But it has the option to like maybe bring that in if it can't deal with this matchup in another way. Right. So, and I didn't want to just make every single list Shield. So
yeah, that's fair. Cool. So I guess I'm gonna run through the lists really quick. So I guess the first and the way we're already here. I mean, we talked about Skrulls and this particularly being a Skrulls situation. So in this circumstance, I'm blanking. So X-Men had Prio, right?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Asgard won Prio, which means they took their blues because they don't want to play on like Spider Portals. There's like an argument that they could have, but most people are not going to let X-Men get their secures. So we went with that so that whatever we learn here is applicable to other people having to deal with X-Men. Right.
Okay.
So into X-Men, you don't want to let them have their blues, and then they're going to get their reds. And if you look, I'm actually going to reopen this roster so we can see all the crisis choices.
Yeah. So this
the three
is
crises.
Yeah, these are the X-Men crises.
The 3 crises I'm playing here, if you notice, are all even number extracts that have a bunch of centerline nonsense that I can pull off, right? And I think this is going to be fairly common with X-Men, is that instead of playing cubes or spider infected, where if the opponent has priority, steals a thing and can back up with it, now I'm behind. On these, worst case, we're even, but it's very likely through my turn 1 nonsense, I'm going to get 3 of the 4, or worse, go 2 and 2. And so I think this setup of having the 3 4 thing extracts is going to be very common for X-Men going forward.
Right, and so just to be clear, by even number extracts, you meant even number of the extracts, not even number of the threat value, which they also are.
No, that's a fun coincidence.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so, or I guess we're over here. We'll just do the X-Men list right away. So this has got the new Logan, and then it's got Juggernaut, Domino, Dr. Voodoo, Beast, Mystique, Red Guardian, Rogue, Storm, and X-23. And then saw the crises, they're down here, we already chose one. And then for tactics, we've got Exceptional Healing, To Me, Sacrifice, Gotta Get Some Air, First Class, Fallback, Do You Know Who I Am, Deception, Comrade's Keeper, and Brace for Impact. Anything quick you want to say about this list overall? It feels like this is a normal
X-Men so this is fairly normal with a couple additional things. Like, okay, Storm, Beast, and Logan, you're going to see all of the time now going forward, right? Like, I think basically all my X-Men squads at this point start with those 10 points, and a lot of people are kind of in that same space, especially on pay-to-flips. But, like, the affiliated choices here, I think, are not surprising at all. Dr. Voodoo, no one should be surprised by. Juggernaut, no one should be surprised by. Not everyone's going to be playing Juggernaut, but you get why he's there. Mystique and Red Guardian are kind of newer tech slots. Red Guardian isn't really relevant for what we're talking about here today, but I wanted something. The short version is Malekith is still the threat, and I wanted someone to help fucking not get diced by Malekith, and he's good at that, and he's just good in X-Men in general. Mystique, I think, is a type of 3-threat you will see where they want an unaffiliated 3-threat long mover. Well, they take an affiliated one if it existed, but it doesn't. But having a 3-threat long move opens up scenario things, right? Like a small base long move, hopping off a small base can get to the midline in 1 advance, right? So for hammers or skrulls, Mystique or EC Ghost Spider a lot here too as well, who I was playing and I like a lot as an alternative to this, can hop off of any model, go get a skrull, and back up with it, right? And so you will see some sort of long mover there. I like Mystique because having Deception makes my turn 1 stuff even more obnoxious, because even if my opponent tries to race me on them and grab them themselves before I can, I have Deception open to just reel them in and take it from them by force.
Right. Cool. Okay, so then the other side, the Asgard side, we've got... So you guys talked about, I mean, this is exactly the list you talked about on the podcast, right? Or is it
yes.
different? Yeah. Yeah, so it's got Thor, Valkyrie, Loki, Heimdall, Enchantress, and Scourge, and then Dr. Voodoo, Sentinel, Crimson Dynamo, and Wong. Sorry, Prime, not just any Sentinel. Sentinel Prime, and then Wong. And then for tactics, it's got Doom Prophecy, Face Me, Fallback, Follow Me, Meet My Executioner, Odin's Blessing, Patch Up, Rainbow Bridge, Recalibration, Matrix, and Sibling Rivalry. So you talked about it in the podcast. Everybody should go listen to the podcast. If you don't listen to the podcast, you're a fake fan. However, can you briefly sum up this Asgard list?
Yeah, so this was me trying to build a sort of control-y, sody fighty Asgard list that I somewhat intentionally did not include much for centerline grabs, because I wanted to see if just through like Voodoo and Enchantress later on in the game stealing things can make up for that, right? So I didn't put Angela in here because I don't like Angela as much as everyone else, and people will get mad at me for saying that, but she pays too much threat to do too many different jobs, and she's not good enough at any one of those besides grabbing centerline stuff that I'm happy to play her. But she might become, as Vince kind of alluded to, she might be a necessary evil in the world where I think a lot of factions, not just X-Men, are going to have 2 or 3 safe centerline grabs, right? There's like an arms race in the meta right now of centerline grabs, and you might just have to play Angela because of that. But I wanted to see how bad does it feel to not have that, but have tools like Enchantress and Voodoo to steal the stuff later.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So I think we'll move on. So we've resulted in these scenarios. So I think we'll move on to roster building, and I think we should, since the point is that X-Men's kind of the beatdown here, like it's the thing that we're responding to, right? We should start with the X-Men building and then move to the Asgard building. So how do you build this? You already said that you start with Storm, Mystique, and Logan as like a 10 almost all the time.
Storm, Beast, and Logan.
Or I'm sorry, Storm, Beast, and Logan. Sorry.
Yes. In this case, I think there's arguments. So Logan's excellent on pay to flips in particular, right? And if we're not on a pay to flip, there's a little more room to cut him. But I also think he's quite good at Fisk, which is the secure we got, because he's immune to the stun and has healing factor to heal off the damage.
Oh yeah.
So he can just get tangled up in the middle and be fine with that, which isn't true of a lot of other models. So I think I'm perfectly happy to play him. I'm playing Mystique most every game I lose priority, and this is no different. And so then we have room for a 3 threat of choice. I think any of the options here have merit, right? X-23 is fine here, though I only love her when I have targets I know I consistently will be able to frenzy off of, which is definitely not Asgard, right?
Right.
Domino probably becomes, if I don't like X-23 and need an affiliated damage dealer, I'll go to Domino. Domino would be totally fine here. I have no issues with her. Red Guardian, also, I think a reasonable choice here. The upside of Red Guardian is it gets me another model that's kind of happy to stand in the center. He's not immune to stun, but he's kind of okay being stunned between his suit and all of his stuff being static gainers anyways.
Right.
So like the opportunity cost there is pretty low. But none of this last choice does anything super exciting, especially turn 1. I think I'll just take.
I think you take Guardian here, because the Incinerate on Domino into Asgard is like not that big of a deal. She probably won't use it at all, so that's like a big part of her kit turned off, in my opinion. So I think Guardian just edges her out.
And then for cards, I'm definitely taking To Me My X-Men because it gives me functionally a 3rd safe grab if I need it. Although for that to be super exciting, so that's an argument for Domino X-23, right? Because like Beast is a safe grab on his own. Logan can be a safe grab with Gotta Get Some Air. And so To Me My X-Men could work on Logan if I didn't want to take Gotta Get Some Air or save it for a later turn. But there's also an argument to take X-23 here instead of Red Guardian, and then have 4 models that can all grab something off the center and back up. Right. So I'm actually have convinced myself I want X-23 here, but we'll see.
Okay.
I'm going to take Sacrifice because Sacrifices are good. We're taking Deception because we lost priority. And this is where things get hard. Probably going to take Exceptional because they have the 2 healing factor characters. I'm sad to not play Brace, but I don't have a choice here, I don't think. Same thing, like Fallback would be great here, but don't have room for it. First Class, I usually only take on pay to flips or when I have specific plans for characters that are going to need 2 power on turn 2. Like if I'm playing a lot of Rogue, I'm more incentivized to play First Class so that she has charge online. Really, none of my characters, like X-23 kind of would be happy to have 2 power turn 2, but it's not a big deal. Beast doesn't really care. Logan doesn't really care. Storm isn't really going to care. So we can leave First Class at home and just go with this 16.
Cool. So you have Exceptional Healing and Deception. Yeah. Okay, cool. That makes sense to me. Vince, you have any problems with that?
No. I mean, he's got, as long as he takes To Me, I think we can kind of talk about what's going on here.
Okay. Yeah, like there might still be right to take Red Guardian here instead of To Me, but I want to talk about what To Me can do on turn 1 for this episode, so we're going to take it.
Cool.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so then we get over to the Asgard stuff, and I think it's, even though we wouldn't know exactly what you were drafting, I think it's fair to say we know the rough game plan, hopefully. So what is...
X-Men are scenario team. They're going to try to win on points. Asgard needs to figure out how to not lose 2 points.
Yeah, right. So... other than Thor, what does that include?
So my first thought here, and then people can speak up if they don't like this, is I would do Enchantress, Voodoo, and a 3 threat, probably Valkyrie. I really like having both Enchantress and Voodoo putting one on each side and being able to chase people down when they start trying to back out with the skrulls and get the skrulls off of them is very helpful. Having Siren's Call turn 1 technically is like a center play, right? Like just walk Sirens calling someone is sometimes the right call. And it can open things up for like Valkyrie to be able to walk charge them and get some power and maybe chuck them back. And you can build kind of a Rube Goldbergian turn 1 play. But mostly I just want to have both my Steelers here.
Yeah, and I think that turn 1 play is not going to be that live because X-Men don't typically stand on the center line
They
in
definitely
Skrulls.
do not, yeah.
So that's like not a thing we can rely on. But I do think having the 2 steals are going to be reliable here. I think really the debate here is whether you play Scourge or Valk.
Yeah. The difference for me is I just want charge. I think a lot of this is going to have to be crossing the table. And I think Valk is a little better at that than Scourge, but I think I'm never unhappy to play Scourge, right? If you play Scourge, you have the very fun Meet My Executioner teleports to get him across the table.
Yeah.
Which is a good time. So we can talk about that. I'm happy with either of those 3 threats. It's just like, it's definitely not Heimdall is all I really know.
Pat, have you played this list at all yet? Like this exact list?
No, I have not put Enchantress on the table at all. This was like the 2/4s in Enchantress and Voodoo was my first thought as well. And I guess I would have leaned Valk, but that's not for any huge reason. Like, I don't have a great sense of when I would play Scourge over Valk, other than like he's slightly more durable, and if you really want bodyguard, or not, well, you know what I mean.
Taunt, yeah.
So like, yeah, this is the list I would probably end up playing, but I still feel like I would like land on this list and be mad about it the whole time.
This is the Pat special right there.
Yeah.
So why are we definitely not taking Heimdall? Anybody can answer this.
Heimdall's the worst Asgard 3 by a good bit. He's very close to being cut from the list entirely, just because his power economy is kind of whack. He has really good things to spend his power on, but is not very good at making it, because he doesn't really have ways to get more than 1 attack a turn unless somebody's dumb enough to stand next to him. And so he gets to do like 1 or 2 things a turn. He's at his best when he can teleport Sentinel Prime around. Like that's kind of the thing that keeps him in the list.
Gotcha,
is being able. Sentinel Prime hates walking. Heimdall can help fix that problem. But outside of those centralized brawls like that, then I don't really want to play Heimdall.
And we're not really at a point value where we can even consider taking Sentinel Prime anyway. So, right.
You can consider it, right? You could do
I guess
Sentinel, Valk, Heimdall.
Yeah, okay. I guess you're right. Never mind. Can't do math.
But I like that list against not X-Men.
Yeah, but it has no scenario pressure. Like if X-Men is walking away with all the scenario early.
Yeah, I mean it gets you good control. So with this being Fisk, right? There's a lot of points from the secures centralized in the middle of the table. Right, like that's 4 VPs right now, and so like if X-Men gets 3 of the Skrulls, but you dominate the center, you're scoring 5-3.
Yes, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Right, and so Sentinel Prime could be part of a plan to dominate the center, because he's pretty good at standing in where those witnesses are. The problem being the X-Men player probably will be smart enough to know that like every time they lose those witnesses, they got to make sure they just spread them out as much as possible, which can make Sentinel Prime have a rough time.
Yeah, they can just move away from each other basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then, so what would the tactics look like, assuming we take this 4 of Thor, Enchantress, Voodoo, Valkyrie?
Yep. So we don't have any team up cards we need to bring between Mutant Executioner and Sibling Rivalry, so we can cut those out.
Always Odin's Blessing. Always Odin's Blessing. Always Doomed.
Doomed is right on the border in this game, but I probably still keep it. This is like the worst Doom team because you only have 2 characters who can possibly use it.
Yeah, but I mean that's still half your list. Like,
true. Yeah, I'm still keeping it, but it is on the border here. We're definitely taking Face Me because Face Me is here for when people try to run away holding stuff. You just drag them back into the party.
I mean, probably follow me, right?
Yeah, I think Follow Me is a good call here. I think Patch Up would be fine here. I think Rainbow Bridge is interesting here. I think Recal is probably fine here. But it's probably Patch Up or Rainbow Bridge.
I think it's
Pat or Vince, do you have strong feelings?
I think it's Rainbow Bridge. You're chasing a team down, right? And again, I don't know, like I don't play Asgard and their durability, but in my experience, X-Men very rarely like they either spike on you and you leave the table, or like they only put like one or two on you.
Yeah, that's true. This is also kind of similar how we talk about this is not the best doomed list. This is not the best patch up list. Just because like Enchantress and Valk going down to 5 health on the backside means that you have to either patch them up on the front side or they probably don't get patched up at all. So you really only have it up for Thor or Voodoo, which is more limited than it might normally be. So sure, I'm happy to take Rainbow Bridge here.
Okay, cool. Pat, I guess really quick, are there any missing cards or like you don't get why you're taking this?
No, I think the cards mostly make sense. I have been playing this without Follow Me because without Face Me because I've been too lazy to print one. So I will do that before LDS.
That's very important.
That's been helpful already. I am interested in, I guess, like how this list will ever be able to play many of these cards. Just like a lot of the games I have played have felt incredibly power light on the characters that are not Enchantress or Voodoo. And so for like the Asgard specific cards, I've had trouble playing 3-cost cards, but it's good to have the option.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like we probably won't get to that in this stream because that's it's like turn 3 where you start having decisions about that, and this is how not to lose on turn 1, but
yeah, you're welcome to lose on turn 3 on this stream.
I've been doing that. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I guess I'm going to activate it then.
Yeah, do it.
All right. Okay, so now we have the deployment, and we're going to go through this piece by piece, I guess.
Yep. So, Asgard had priority, right?
Yes.
Sounds right.
That's what it says on the stream, so it better be right.
Okay, cool.
So, Asgard's putting a dude down first. What is the plan? Is the plan just put Thor central?
Or is the plan to have the option to have Voodoo grab a Skrull and back up? I'm not really sure.
I think you want the option on the table, right? Whether or not you take it we will see. But I do think so. If you put a medium base, medium move directly in line with these home scrolls with a little bit of wriggle room, he can walk up, grab it. Even if he gets pushed, he still has the ability to walk back or walk on or secure. Right. So basically, faster than standard movement, either long move or bigger base or whatever, gets you to the scroll. So we might as well have Voodoo threaten that home scroll.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that.
Cool.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my medium base, medium mover in line with my scroll.
Does this take away your storm hop to get a wing or no?
No, you'll see.
Okay, I'm sure I will. There's just like that's the other thing about like this X-Men bullshit is there's like 3 or 4 ways
There's so many. It's so fucking
to do the same kind of gimmick.
Yep.
Right, like they're so good at this, and like I don't know, like I find myself like looking at an X-Men deployment and going, "Oh, they elected not to grab stuff and back up," and it's just like I just haven't seen this particular formation of the exact same trick they're about to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
So Asgard continues we haven't really got any information out of X-Men yet.
No.
Other than,
sure haven't.
Yeah. So, given that, what is Asgard's next thing?
I think Thor goes slightly. So like none of your other characters have too much in the way of gimmicks besides potentially Enchantress, right? Like Enchantress, if you see a side where it's like, oh, they don't have as like they don't look like they're threatening one wing, that's probably the wing you want to put Enchantress on.
Right.
So if for some reason I deploy all my models on the left side, put Enchantress on the right side. And I think she becomes your last deployment just because of that. I think Thor and Valk are pretty comfortable just like lining up against one of the two witnesses, and then they can either fuck with someone who gets a scroll and doesn't get out with it, or just kind of play to stand on the witnesses turn one.
Mm-hmm. Cool. There's a truck in the way of this one, so yeah, I was gonna say maybe Thor should go over here since he can fly.
Yeah,
Valkyrie
he also might want to throw it at someone.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Why can't Valkyrie fly? That's like the one thing.
She doesn't have her horse.
What'd you say?
She doesn't have her winged horse.
Oh right.
Oh heck yeah! Let's go 4-point Valkyrie with her winged horse. Actually, never mind. No more Asgard models ever, please. Thank you. Okay.
We're getting some next month, buddy.
Oh god damn it.
So yeah, this is where I have a couple models in mind that I want to threaten the wing ones with, right? Mystique is going to be one of the models set up on a wing, and it's probably going to be one of my last deployments because of that.
Right. Okay.
X-23 probably becomes the model to threaten the other one, just because she's reasonable. Like, I don't really want to throw Storm up there.
Yeah.
And Logan, I want to be able to fight over witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to deploy Logan across from this witness.
Yeah.
I would kind of prefer him not to fight Thor, though it's fine if he does get matched up against Thor, but
he looks so
get
tiny.
Some free miniature value here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're probably doing Valkyrie next, and it's probably just opposite of Thor, right? Or
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can do that one. How's that look?
Kind of the same story here, right? That like, so I think you want to edge her a little bit closer,
a little bit more flexible over there.
With her walk charge, she can threaten either point pretty well from there. Especially with this tractor blocking landing zones, I have to be kind of closer to her. So she can cheat a little bit closer to the scroll.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So then X-Men.
Yep. So seeing Valkyrie there, I'm pretty sure I want to put my Mystique on that one because I think in this case, my plan is to save Deception and use Mystique as a hop grab.
Why is your plan to save Deception?
Because if I don't need to use it turn one, I'd rather not. Like, I'd rather just get the things and back up with them than have to punch my way through someone holding them.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't think even with Asgard having priority, you don't think they're going to sufficiently contest turn one that you need to Deception, right?
And if I do, I would rather Deception Valkyrie than Enchantress.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Because trying to do damage to Enchantress turn one when no one can pay to lower her defenses sucks.
I think there's also a little bit of the like just the scenario teams are trying to trade their cards for points. And he's just trying to like a lot of teams try to trade Deception for tempo, and he's just trying to trade it for points.
I see.
Oh. That'd have been better.
What would have been better? Explain yourself. Okay, Logan is so tiny.
He is very tiny. I just realized that Logan goes over here to maximize. I forgot. So he's likely just going to want to fight over this witness. But I do have got to get some air. So if my opponent plays slow picking up stuff, I'm happy to have him just double walk to here and then protect himself with got to get some air.
Okay. So you think this is better since he can do that, even given that this makes him more likely to fight Thor, which you said you would prefer not to? Okay.
Yeah.
So then we have Asgard's last pick, and the X-Men have basically, I mean, they have not done a refused flank or overcompensated on one side or anything, so where does Enchantress grow? Over here by Thor, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a couple options with this one, right? You could go over by Thor to threaten this skull, right? You could put her in between Valk and Voodoo and just kind of be like, I'm going to fight over 2 witnesses and 2 skrulls. All right, and I'm not even going to try to put threat on all 3 skrulls. I'm just going to pick this side of the table plus the witnesses and fight over that. Though I think since she's probably just double walking turn 1 most of the time anyways, it's not a big difference whether she's here or here.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Vince, do you have anything you want to challenge on that?
Not really, no. It all seems fine.
Okay.
Cool. And so now I have my last deployments. I'm going to put Storm over here.
So what is that
well,
doing? What is Storm?
sorry.
What is Storm? What's she up to?
So Storm this turn is usually just either a hop node for someone else or lining up to me my X-Men's for safe grabs.
I see. Okay.
So I think actually what I'm going to do is put her here and put X-23 over here. And so then either Mystique or X-23 can go get that Skrull. And then either Mystique's natural movement keeps her safe, or I use to me my X-Men to keep X-23 safe.
So when you say Mystique's natural movement, I mean, if
She's going to
speaking...
hop off X-23.
Oh, right. She's hopping off X-23. Right. Cool. So that means... Okay. All right, cool. So... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Ask a question about sort of just like the plan. So
Yes.
we've talked a lot about like the things that let you get to the midline, pick things up, and back up.
Mhm.
And I can see why that's like a very valuable thing, right? In the abstract, like if you're playing against Shield, you want to do that. It doesn't feel to me like there's a ton of pressure to do that in this matchup. Like, I'm not going to shoot you if you stay there. You might get charged by Valkyrie, I guess, but like, does that change the risks you're willing to take in terms of leaving models on the midline at all?
A little bit. But I think like getting charged by Valk and getting bowed in by Valkyrie where other people can then hit me, or bowed in by Enchantress where other people can then hit me feels bad. And also just like grabbing stuff and backing up means I get to set up my bunker and my optimal positioning going into turn 2.
Okay.
Right. It just lets me consolidate in a way that will make future turns easier as well.
I guess I mostly ask because like it feels like a lot of times me trying to punish like greedy scenario play on turn 1 has the consequence of like also making my turn 1 scenario worse. So like it feels like it nets out to just the game is sort of lower scoring at that point, and maybe the scenario team has taken a little bit of damage. But I don't know.
You're not wrong, but I just like being able. The problem is like if Valkyrie just like spikes a model and kills it, we've entered disaster town, right?
Okay.
I would rather just like not have you even have the chance to roll 5 crits into me and totally send things sideways.
Okay, I'm just curious.
And the other thing is that every one of these models with no help can attack someone on the midline.
That's not quite true.
Which one of these models can't do
X-23
that?
needs help.
Sorry, I'm talking about Pat's models. The Asgard models.
I mean, that's true, but if I walk Thor and spend power to shoot you on turn 1, that seems pretty fucking terrible.
It's okay.
It's fine. Like, it still leaves you for Asgard next turn. Right? Or it leaves you, like, walk, throw, punch, or whatever. Like, I think it's still fine.
Okay. That's strange to me, but we can proceed under that pretense.
But the matchup's just kind of weird because, like, so X-Men are very clearly a scenario team, and I would describe Asgard as a tempo team. Like, they're just kind of trying to, like, get an advantage in some aspect of the game and ride that to victory, or ride that until it disappears and then poke at another aspect.
Or ride that until Follow Me Doom Prophecy kills the enemy team.
Yeah, or look for their big swing turn to win the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's like not as clear cut as like if this was Shield, where Shield is like definitely just going to play attrition in X-Men.
Right. Okay.
And I also do think that like Fisk makes this more interesting for X-Men than other secures, right? Like if this is Infinity Formula, the grab and then back up to my 2 home points is disgustingly strong.
Right.
Sure is.
And it's like any other secure where it's not just midline stuff, it feels a lot better. But your Asgard list is playing both this and intrusions, which kind of have the similar function of making my back out not as strong as it could be.
Okay, I guess so. My like just before this game starts, if I teleported into this position,
Mm-hmm.
I am like worried that if you just grabbed as much stuff as you could and stood on the secures, that I can't beat you on like anything turn one.
Yeah, I guess
Which I'm not saying is a valid concern, but like you have more models and you're a lot better at getting the extracts. And if you just like, and since I'm not that good at hitting things on the midline, it feels like you can just take your chances, honestly.
It's rough, right? So like you should be able to score one of the two witnesses, right?
Yeah.
Basically off the back of Enchantress's bow, nothing I can do about that turn one, right? That you should be able to at least at a minimum overload one of the witnesses. And then if we split the witnesses and I have one more scroll agent, but all the models are in the center of the table and you have priority, that's gonna be a very bad turn two for me.
Okay, interesting.
Won't you either be tied on scrolls or have two more? Or am I stupid? Is there probably going to be a scroll still on the table this game?
I mean, so like what I'm thinking about, right, is that like, so if I grab 3 of the scrolls and then go to the center, let's say I get all the grabs, right? Mm-hmm. He has a very reasonable option here of Voodoo walking up, grabbing the scroll, and then hitting someone on a witness. And if that makes a bunch of power, he has like throw or possession online to make sure he wins that witness, right? So I think he has between that and Bow and Valk's charge that can roll in the dice into a throw. He has enough options that he should be able to score one of these 2 witnesses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, should we start activating stuff then?
Yeah. I'm gonna give my model some power.
Oh yeah, same.
I think my other concern here is that I'm not 100% sure that so Asgard has priority, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What happens if looking at this board state, like not really playing either of these factions? Mm-hmm. Is there a reason that Enchantress shouldn't just double walk up and grab that scroll? Like, can she be punished in a way that I'm not really seeing? I guess she's going to take an attack from Logan.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fine, right? Like, I think this list is difficult for me to get like totally obnoxious coverage on all of the scrolls, right? Like, yes, if Mystique was over there, she could get super punished for it, but Mystique can only be in one place, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like, could I deploy her in the center and then threaten everything with deception? Yes, but by doing that, I give up a safe grab. Which one of those is better? I don't know. Like, I don't know what's optimal for X-Men yet, just because they have 15 million options.
Yeah. There's like 2 or 3 ways you could skin this scenario.
Theoretically, I might get 2 punches with Logan into Enchantress if I want to use the hop to do it.
Yeah, it's true. You could like run Beast over there. And then that actually scares Enchantress, especially if you spike 2 damage on the first one.
Yes. But if I do that, that's using the hop, which means that then I don't have a safe. Well, then I have to blow to me my X-Men for a safe grab on the left one. But that's probably fine. Like, that's probably what I end up doing is if Enchantress goes there, right, and picks that up. And I think this is going to be this episode about like, well, what if Asgard does this? Well, here are the 13 things X-Men does in response. Okay, go back to stage 1. Try this again, right? Because I am just overflowing with options, and so I think. The goal here is not so much to find the optimal turn 1, is just to help people understand what all the fucking X-Men options are. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Pat, what is your instinct here? I can tell you what mine is.
Well, so this sort of circles back to the thing we were just talking about of like whether Nate really stays on the midline or not. So like the Voodoo is the one that can grab that close scroll, whatever. But he's also like a key thing that threatens the midline. So I don't want to do that, I guess. I guess the Enchantress thing makes sense to me, but
okay,
I don't
let's
love
go
it.
down that road.
Okay, hang on a sec. I'm an alternate theory.
Yeah.
How bad is passing here?
It's okay. Right? Like, you can, I think, especially with Fisk, right? You can set up that, like, my opponent's going to get 3 scrolls, have them, enjoy them in good health. I can't stop that. I want to focus on my scroll and the 2 witnesses and call that my turn 1 plan. And so if you pass, I think that's what your turn 1 plan becomes, is trying to control the secure.
Okay. Can you elaborate on, or do you have an idea of like what the Asgard player does through the rest of the course of that turn to handle their scroll?
Go through it. I mean, let's just pick one of these 2 paths, go down it, and then reset and go down the other path.
I don't care what order we do it in.
It's your call, Pat. You're
Okay,
the Asgard player. You're driving.
Roberto, how do you feel?
Let's go with Enchantress grabbing one thing first.
Okay.
So,
But I really do think we have to just like go through a couple different turn 1s for this to make any sense to.
so is there a reason she wouldn't go as far back as possible, or should I go further?
No, you should stay back.
So she grabs this.
Like if you could get up on the car for cover, that would be cool, but I don't think she can. So
No, I don't think so.
All right,
So-
she rolls 2 dice.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and you should turn the overlay on too.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. The likely thing happened.
Yes. All right. So now I gotta figure out. I should be able to get up on that. Sorry, so I'm just lining up my plan of Beast grabbing a scroll and coming back here.
I'm sorry, Pat. We're getting owned.
It's fine. This is very reflective so far.
No, that puts me on the X-Men team. God damn it.
It could be the 3 of us versus Nate.
I don't know, man. If both these teams could lose, that'd be ideal.
Okay. So now I have a bunch of options to think about, right? I can have Beast grab this scroll, hopefully not get pushed, come set up and be a perfect node for Wolverine to threaten Logan. But I don't really think my opponent would ever go for that home scroll. So I can wait on that and kind of see what happens. But I know I'm going to save my hop for that play, right? Because like an alternative is Mystique hops off X-23, walks, grabs a skull. Even if she gets pushed, she's got a long move to back up. And with stealth, she's going to be perfectly safe, right? But I want to save my hop. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying but I yawned, so it sounded like
Oh.
I was talking. Sorry.
So knowing that, I don't think that's what I want. Like, I think I'd rather have the hop to really try to put Enchantress down. Because if I actually like daze her turn 1, I am the happiest man.
Yeah.
So we're instead going to use, to me, my X-Men off of X-23 here. So I'm going to come pick this up as close to my homies as possible and also use these barrels to block where you can push me.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
If I do flub this roll. Grab it, spend some power, roll some dice. Okay, so she failed, which is not, I think that's close to a 50-50. I don't know the exact odds on 3 dice. It is short, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know.
Yeah, these barrels are also super helpful.
Yes.
Probably push them like this, right?
Yeah. It's the best you're going to get.
Like that. I don't know.
Yep.
Cool.
And so here I am very clearly in danger of getting punched by Valk, which one punch probably shouldn't kill me, but I think I'm happy spending to me to at least make you have to come into danger if you want to come punch me, right? And like have Mystique kind of covering me with deception and her gunshots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend a power of storm, put the thingy on the thingy. What the
best widget in the game?
Okay. And I'm actually going to kind of go not straight towards my team, but more away from Valkyrie.
I was going to say, you don't want to... I don't think you would actually want to go over here, because then there's like a very small chance Valkyrie can like be on the witness while hitting you or something. So,
yeah, or at least be in a more relevant position while hitting me. So this is what I would do. And then you can kind of visualize, if I don't flub that roll, just how safe X-23 is. Right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
if
She's
she's
like way back here. Yeah.
Here and then goes to here.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But that's, like I said, it's close to 50-50, I think.
Can Valk even get there? I don't think she can even get there, can she?
I don't know.
That looks
that
looks doable to me.
Oh yeah. That's
yeah.
doable.
You're right.
It's not a great position for her to be in, but I think she can reach it.
No, she gets deception and shot by everyone in the world.
Okay, 58% for a Def 3 model to not get pushed.
That is a crazy scenario that it's a Def 3 is still only 58% to not get pushed.
Def 4 is usually only 68%. Like, you have to have plans, even for high def models, for both outcomes, because it's never reliable. I'm not getting pushed.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, you should expect it should be, your mindset should be, pick it up, you're being pushed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just cash out value if you don't get pushed.
Okay, well, the scenario, the game is already on X-Men's side. This is bullshit.
X-Men get its skills.
So, who is... Well, Asgard is up now, and I guess we are holding a pass still, but what's happening next?
Yeah.
Pat, what's your instinct tell you?
My instinct would be to pass, now that we've talked about it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think that's correct. Like, you don't really have to worry about your home scroll, right? Unless I have to burn my hop, I don't have a way to get there safely. And if I burn my hop to get that scroll, it means Enchantress gets to live and be safe, which you're happy about, right? So I think at this point, you're happy if I dive that scroll. You don't have threat to my scroll, so you might as well use your pass.
Okay, we pass.
Okay, so now I have, like, Mystique could go, but I want to keep Deception as a threat, right? Because if you just have somebody wander onto a witness carelessly, I'm totally willing to use Deception just to get them off of it, so you don't score a bunch of points on me turn 1. So she's going to wait. Storm, I could just go wander up the field at this point, but I don't really have much use for Storm right now. And I actually might end up using her as a node for Wolverine to hop off of if Beast gets pushed and I don't love where he ends up. So I think I'm going to wait on Storm. So let's do the Beast thing and see what happens.
Makes sense.
So Beast is going to walk up to the scroll. He's going to pick it up by spending a power. And I'm going to roll 4 dice. Come on, Wild Skull. There's the crit. There's the skull. Hell yeah. So I don't get pushed and I gain a power because I'm Beast.
Oh, man. X-Men feels so fair.
We have entered Value Town. And so as you can see, now I have plenty of distance to walk here and be a perfect node for Logan to hop up on this tank and stab Enchantress.
Right.
I do want to see, though, let's pretend I fail that roll. Go ahead and push Beast.
Push you towards us, right? Because
Yeah,
you can't
well,
pick up more.
Probably short, but
Probably short, yeah.
And like away, well, actually, yeah, away from Logan.
Yeah.
If you see what I'm doing, which shouldn't be too hard to see.
I do find it hard to predict
scroll,
X-Men hops.
No, you can only hold one of these. So even if he gets his refund, he still can't pick that one up.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I would push him here probably.
Yep. Vince, what did you say about my hops?
It can be hard to predict X-Men hops because
Oh,
they
definitely can. Yeah.
Used, like, it's such a versatile leadership.
It is, but
so
this
now
one
you
feels
see-
pretty readable just because Enchantress looks very juicy. I don't know. That would be my assumption for what would be coming this turn.
Yeah, I think I'm also a little bit worried about, like, like the Mystique hop into some kind of deception play, but yeah, you're right. Like, now that most of the extracts have been picked up, I think it's more obvious what it's going to be used for this turn.
Yeah.
And so you can see by failing that push, my perfect Value Town hop is now gone, right? Like I could push myself here to sort of safety, and then Logan's a walk hop punch, but that's like, I could just walk punch you. Why would I hop there? Right?
Yes.
So I do, Beast is one of the better models to not get pushed, but if he does get pushed, you lose a lot of value, right? And so now I have options of, I can just back up to get my extract to safety, right? I could go stand over here for shenanigans. Standing here means Mystique or Storm can walk, hop to be on the witness, and still have an action to shoot people.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the best thing I can do with Beast from this position. There's also an argument to put him also on the witness, but I think I want to keep my extracts a little bit further away for now.
Yeah, I also like Beast heading towards this side of the board, away from the people that can move him, because everyone that can move Beast is on this side of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the two people that can't are over here.
Mm-hmm. So that's Beast.
Okay. Now Asgard is forced to participate again.
Yes.
I assume this is Voodoo.
Yeah, I would go. I mean, you could suicide Valk into Beast, but that doesn't sound good. You could have Thor move up to his witness, but if I go early with Logan, having Thor be able to at least have the option of throw something at him is interesting. Though I think Thor probably just double walks for 2 VPs anyways, but you might as well keep that in your pocket. So I think I would go with Voodoo here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards Voodoo grabbing here and then stopping Deception over there.
Stopping Deception over there. Okay. So like so, and then move on to the witness, you think?
Well, hold on. Roll your 2 dice.
Oh, right, duh. Okay, he does not get pushed.
Cool. I don't think it makes a huge difference if you do get pushed, right? So my options for pushing is I can push you towards me, but then your medium move still gets you to either witness or wherever you would want to be, right? Or you might just try to hit Beast and throw the tractor at him and fuck him up, which doesn't sound super fun for me. I think if I push you away, you still can get to a witness.
I think you're fine, like not being on the witness as well, just being a spot where you can prevent Deception on Thor.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm going to see what happens. Kind of the same thing with Beast. Let's assume the worst.
Okay.
Because I think from here, if you pass it, you're just like, cool, go stand over here somewhere.
Yeah.
But let's say I push you to here. Nope. All right, and now you think he just kind of stands over here to protect Thor from Deception? Or does that get him Deceptioned?
Why would you Deception him from here? I'm confused.
Well, so you're standing there so that when Thor goes to the witness, he's sort of safe.
No, I understand that part, sorry. But like you said, or does that get him Deceptioned? But if Dr. Voodoo is there, why would...
I mean, I can walk, hop, be within range of Deception you in, shoot you.
I guess. I guess.
And then Storm shoots you, and then Logan punches you.
I guess Logan can get there too. Yeah, all right. I guess that is kind of scary.
Or do you just have to fucking stand behind this truck? Or stand in front of Valkyrie?
You just kind of want to live in a spot where, if he wants to walk Deception you, I think you just kind of have to live with that.
Well, it'd be walk, hop, Deception, at least maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you just want to be out of walk, hop, Deception, I think.
So that would probably be him staying on the truck then.
Yeah.
Evil. This measurement's illegal.
It seems terrible. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Pat. It doesn't feel good to me either.
Well, we're gonna finish the turn 1 and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
It feels not good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're doing it. This is among the strongest openers in the game. You're not going to have the best time.
Sure.
So
the stated goal is to be outside of instantly losing, not instantly winning. All right.
Yes.
Well, look, if I manage to lose on turn 1, I've done something special.
So this whole series doesn't mean anything. Well, I don't know. Let's put him on the truck so he doesn't get Deceptioned. Can he fit on this truck? He might not be able to.
He can.
Okay. Then he'll go like this. I don't know.
Okay.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I do think the walk Deception is not super thrilling because it's like, oh, Logan can then punch you once, but Logan already has a target to punch, and Voodoo's a little bit juicier, but also scarier when I give him power. And like,
Yeah.
if Logan starts next to Voodoo, who has some power, Logan either dies or has to burn exceptional, and maybe still dies. Because so the thing, I guess we'll talk about, like, if Logan goes into Voodoo, if he doesn't put him down, he has to land within range 1 of Voodoo, and you have priority. So I don't get storm cover, and I'm deaf 2 for the next turn, right? And there's just like nothing
Right.
Logan can do about that because his teleport is being mandatory. And that's something to think about when you're considering, you know, who's Logan going to punch and how bad is it going to be. That he basically, like, anytime he punches someone doesn't kill it, he's given up storm cover, which is theoretically a very big deal in keeping him alive.
Yeah, but he always kills whatever he punches, so it's like not a problem.
Well, not with one punch.
Oh yeah, you're right. Correct. Sure.
Yeah. So now I can do the Mystique thing, but I don't think I really want to deception you. I think I would rather go for the scroll that's closer to my side of the board rather than trying to cross the Rubicon and go get one. So I think what I'm going to do is have Storm come be a node for Wolverine to jump off of.
Cool.
Balanced.
She didn't do anything. It was fine.
Yeah.
So now what are we doing? I guess Thor has a theoretical landing spot now. So do we just do Thor? I don't know.
I would.
I think it kind of doesn't matter because he's just going to go with this, like whichever side you activate, he's going to go with his piece on the same side that you activate on. Like, I think Valk is if you put Valk on the point, she's going to get shot by Mystique.
And you can't avoid that. Like, I have last activation, and my last activation is going to be Mystique. So I think putting Thor up here is fine. I also agree that it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you go with Thor to give me the option of fucking up and going with Mystique early, but
yeah. But I mean, actually, doesn't that matter? Not matter. Oh, no, yeah,
I don't think which character you go matters at all.
That's the only way it doesn't matter. Or it matters is if you go Thor and they go Mystique for some reason. Okay, I see.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, cool. Okay. So, I don't know. It goes like this, and then...
I mean, I think the same argument could be you go Valk and they go Logan for some reason, but I think you just have to kind of assume that.
No, I think that's also fine for them.
Well, if he goes Valk and I go Logan, I still get to Mystique shoot Valk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean...
So like this is...
But then you might get to shock Logan.
Matter, but yeah.
But I think there's no I think Thor has to come stand on this witness to get VPs.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't think the gunshot is valid here. I think they need to win at least one of these witnesses to keep the game even.
Because it looks like we're about to hit even points after this first turn.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm probably going to burn Deception to get you off this witness and take it for myself.
Right, which gets even points.
Well, I guess, yeah, it depends on how Logan's dice go.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if Enchantress dies, but...
So Logan's going to hop. Whee! There's an argument I can go into Thor. Is that better for me? It's better if it works.
Wait, it's... Well...
No, it's not better for you.
Why not?
Because Thor's going to be stunned next turn.
Yeah, but if I kill him, I get the witness.
But you're... Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you have to kill him with your first attack.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna Odin's his way out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think if that's a play you're thinking about, I think you put your first punch into Enchantress.
Yeah, and then maybe
see how that goes. If you just whiff
maybe.
that, then take a shot into Thor and go stand on
that's definitely. Better, right?
Also, yeah, we'll talk about this. It should have been Valk.
Yeah, so it should.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah. No, you're just in bad spot. We're going, man, X-Men is stupid. All right.
It's so dumb, dude. Like,
I am punching Enchantress, and I cannot pay to reduce.
Okay. So, yeah, right. It should be this way. You hit her once, see what happens, but probably jump to Thor.
I roll real bad.
I am blocking 2.
Oh
wait, no, I'm blocking 1. So still nothing, even with your pierce.
Well, you have 2 blocks, and I pierce one of them.
Yeah, pierce one of them. Yeah. Nothing happens.
Cool. So he's going to place over here to get his rerolls going.
Nice.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of options based on how that roll goes, right? Like if he makes 2 power, he can then use his throw punch on Thor and throw him off the point and take the point for myself.
Right.
Which is obnoxious and fun, but the odds of getting 2 power with 5 dice into 5 dice is not great.
Even 5
like
dice
60?
Pierce, yeah. It's what? Sorry, Vince?
Isn't it like 60?
I don't
To
want you
get
to
2?
do...
I'm going to the website.
Okay.
The
And if I get 1, then I probably just pay to reduce on Enchantress and just try to put a bunch into her.
45.
45 to get
45?
Yeah. It's just 5 die Pierce, right? That's all it's got.
Yeah.
Into 5 dice.
2.
Yeah.
All right.
That's evil.
What's
45.
the odds for getting 1 damage through?
64.
Okay. But so here I am. I think stabbing Thor here just feels bad. It like
Really?
You're
Well-
crazy. You even out the witness. That's crazy.
I even out the witness, and then Logan's gonna just super die.
I guess. Isn't he gonna...
Well, Thor's, if you don't end within 2 of Thor here, like Thor's options to start the next turn are pretty bad. Because
Yeah.
Thor is going to be stunned on 3 power.
So can he Thor Asgard anyway?
He can 4 Asgard, but then he's not going to make power off the attack, which means his follow-up, like Logan's just going to take 2 6-dicers.
Right.
Where if he punches and gives Thor any power, he's probably taking a throw as well.
Or I just get voodooed. Like
Yeah, or you just get
everywhere
double tapped
within
by
1
voodoo.
of voodoo is just gonna be voodoo town. Whereas like my best odds to live next turn are actually Enchantress.
Right.
Doubly so because I still have got to get some air. which
Yeah, and
means
he's
if I'm
got to
not
get some
near
airs.
Thor-
Oh, if you're not near Thor,
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he just
Damn,
goes over there. He's like, for Asgard. He's like, I have to leave.
Goodbye.
I have to get. I gotta be over here.
I
And
guess
like
I'll agree
Enchantress
for
is the
nobody
model
at Thor,
least
for sure.
likely to punish me. All right, like the start of the turn, Enchantress is 2 beams are the least likely of these 3 models to kill me.
Yeah.
So like, there is a choice there to deny you 2 VPs, but I think I'm still pretty happy with the state of the game that I'd rather keep Logan up and running.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna stab Enchantress again and see what happens.
Okay.
This time with rerolls.
Blocking 1.
Take 1 damage.
Type.
Wolverine doesn't do this shit to me.
He does this to me all the time. So I'm going to place myself here, assuming, no, I'm not. So the most important thing is I don't get within 3 of Storm, so that if I do start the turn, I have rerolls.
Yeah.
And ideally, I stay within 3 of Thor, so I have lots of options, even though I probably won't be there.
Right.
All right, that's Logan.
Oh, I didn't.
That went great for Asgard. That went
Sure
so
did.
good.
I mean, Logan is a 5-die character, you know? Sometimes it goes great, and like, if he gets the 40%er to do 2 damage and throws Thor off the point, this is a disaster for Asgard, and sometimes this happens.
Yeah. And then so I have Valkyrie. we have Valkyrie, and we're just gonna run over
Yes.
to the witness, I guess. Or
I
do we
don't
do
think you
something
stay on the witness at all, dude. I don't think you go over there at all.
Really?
Like, okay, you're not going to score the points. Like, you're going to get rid of deception, and then a ton of pressure is going to be put on Valk's activation.
Right?
That's
'Cause,
what's going
like,
to happen.
if Valk ends up standing here, I'm going to walk up, I'm going to deception her off, put her like between X-23 and Beast and Mystique, like she's going
Yeah.
to end her turn in threat of all of these models, and I'm going to score that point. You get deception out of the way, but then if you go first to kill Logan, I go first to beat up X-23, and I'm fine trading those 2 pieces.
Yeah, I think you just go. I think you double walk, stand within 2 of Voodoo, and I think you go, holy shit, I somehow drew against X-Men. Drawing the opening turn against X-Men is an incredible feat.
Yes.
I think you just have to be so happy out of that.
Okay.
Especially for a list that we talked about does not have gimmicks. You know what I mean? Like other lists would feel really bad going even against X-Men. This list, I think, yeah, Vince is totally right. You are stoked about this opener.
Okay.
Well, because like the other thing too, if we look at this board state, right, is that you have all your models. Like if you kill Logan, who threatens to mess you up?
Yeah, nobody. That's true. But I mean, we're not. If we kill Logan, we're also not any closer to tying or to advancing a game past a tie.
You're very tying for a while is good for you.
You really, yeah, I guess so.
You are going to like you can kill Logan and keep Prio, and if you keep Prio, you're just gonna find the turn. You're gonna build up enough power to have the Follow Me Doom Prophecy, break my back, win the game.
I guess that's
Yeah, like I don't hate your opener. Like your opener from here. Like I don't hate like send Logan to La La Land, do stuff with Enchantress, or Nate's being smart and putting pressure on Valk.
Well, I mean, what the fuck else is Mystique gonna do?
I don't
know. Is that better? No, I actually want to be outside of 2.
Yeah, cover is better than martial artist.
No, it's not.
Uh,
It's not. I've done the math. But making you have to walk at me is better than martial artist.
yeah. Right. Martial artist and all the Valk knots. Yeah.
Cool. So that's the turn. We'll score 4.
type.
What a coup! What an absolute coup!
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that.
It's very important that Donald Duck is here.
Okay, we'll put him on top.
Thank you. Now we can't monetize this video.
Yeah, I mean, so I think from this position, things feel really good, right? You have options to try to kill Logan, right? You could have Enchantress just try to do her 2 beams, and if she fails, just walk him away, right? I guess she'll have power for her Mystic attack, so she could try to get one of those in there too.
I was gonna say I am not an Asgard player. I've never. I think I've. Okay, there are 9 models on the field here. I think I've played 0 of them. Oh no, I've played Mystique.
You played Mystique. I've seen you play Mystique.
I've played Mystique. I've played no other models on here. So maybe there's an obvious reason why I wouldn't do this, but isn't this great for Enchantress's spender? He's got no defense.
So this is, I mean, I totally agree. This is a situation where her spender is good. And I also think like her spender, most people ignored back when Bow was not once per turn because you should just spend all your power on Bows.
Yeah, right.
But now she is a character who absolutely can have more power than she knows what to do with. And that spender, the stun doesn't do anything to me. But if you hit the 3 wilds, your cash money value.
Yeah.
And even the slow maybe matters, but probably not in this situation.
Yeah.
But I also like just like spender him, beam him. If you kill him, then you also are in range to bow storm away.
Right.
Which feels like a real good upside if things work out.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
But I also can put a wrench in that. But I think you're in. Oh, you're not. Damn it. Okay. I was like, if I could stun both of them, it would feel really good to stun Enchantress, and then she can't spender and bow.
I kind of assume I would just spray bow him, go stand on the point.
Yeah, that's probably the actual answer.
Like the likelihood that we kill Logan is essentially 0. Like you still have exceptional healing, and you're gonna have the power to play it. Like we can't kill Logan. I would rather just him be inefficient with his action economy.
That makes sense.
Like I don't know how likely Valk is to live through this.
I almost don't hate bow Logan, walk, spray Mystique instead.
Yeah, I don't hate that either.
Why do you keep saying spray? Is that her beam?
Her beam. Yeah.
The beam.
It doesn't say anything about spraying at all.
Players. No, I did War Machine players.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's bad jargon.
It doesn't ignore cover either.
I think it's also like, I think people that don't play War Machine would have stumbled.
I sort of get what you mean by saying spray, but
there's still no reason.
I just want to make sure there wasn't. She's got like 10 rules. I wanted to make sure there was nothing actually called spray.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't seem that bad, honestly. But
no, I mean, I think Vince is right that like it's almost impossible if X-Men are bringing the right crises to get a lead on them early, and it's just about how do you staunch the bleeding without giving up pieces, right? Like without. I think a lot of people, myself included, actually didn't even think enough about Valkyrie, but like wandering Valkyrie to that witness just to die is a great way to give X-Men a big leg up, right?
Yeah. It's not worth giving up deception, because also the longer the game goes on, the less deception matters anyway. So because people are going to be closer together in general.
Right, and then like the advance is less threatening when the lines are already drawn. So
I guess if you didn't get a super juicy deception on turn 1, that's sort of a win, even if you still are holding the
absolutely.
card. Yeah.
No, 100% it is.
Yeah, that's a thing I've been doing in Shield a lot, and I realize that other factions can't do this, but I take sit rep a lot when they have Mystique, because I can often just use sit rep to protect my first activation, but I'm still getting value off of like the advanced deploy of sit rep.
Yeah.
Outside of canceling deception, and often like deception languishes, especially because I play shield wide, so like the likelihood that there's nobody within 2 of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. I don't know. I think this went pretty well. So does this feel like...
Okay. I mean, hang on now.
Yeah, all right.
It went pretty well, but we basically flipped a coin between going pretty well and I think it was phrased as disaster town.
You mean Logan hitting?
Yeah, like
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, if Logan hits the 2 damage there.
We also assumed every push happened, though, which is definitely not guaranteed.
No, but that's
like, yeah, if you end up here, which I think is actually like, I don't know. That feels real bad.
yeah, because then it's what, 2 to 6.
Like,
yeah. No, Valkyrie definitely couldn't have reached that witness. Because I wonder whether there's something where it's worth something to have Valkyrie closer to the center so she could reach other witness, but it's kind of, I'm not sure that you would be able to predict that would be necessary or useful during the deployment, especially because Asgard only has 4 characters to deploy, so they've kind of got to make decisions faster than X-Men does. So that's probably nonsense.
I don't think it is at all, actually. I think if you, like we said, kind of correctly identify, I mean, the hard part is getting the Enchantress to a quote-unquote safe Skrull. Right? Because, like, I always have, I guess, yeah, if I say...
I actually think this isn't as much of a disaster as you might think it is. So, like, if Logan comes over here and, like, does this nonsense that just happened, right, we still have an activation in the can. We still have Valkyrie sitting. We could potentially play Rainbow Bridge out of this.
What? How?
I mean, he has to do 1 damage to Thor with this throw that he just did. So you can Rainbow Bridge Thor back on.
Oh.
And 1 more damage on Enchantress gives us 3 power on Enchantress. We can Rainbow Bridge both of them onto the Witness.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, the Logan player is absolutely going to put damage on Thor. They're not going to see that coming.
Yeah, he would definitely...
We talked about it, and I'm an Asgard player.
He's pretty likely to do that, even if he intentionally
you also could just face me, right? Does it have to be during activation?
Yes. Me? Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. Never mind. Okay,
no,
but
the
you
Rainbow Bridge thing is, I think, pretty... Well, you would guarantee Rainbow Bridge off Enchantress, because I have to do 2 damage to get the 2 power.
Well, she can't do it, though.
Oh, right, because she's holding a thing.
Yeah.
Yes. It's got to be, she has to do the 1 damage to Thor. Right.
Yeah.
I forgot this card didn't used to be objective tokens, right?
Right. Yeah, they fixed it.
Okay.
How come... Hey,
Black Bifrost is okay. Sure.
How come
it is not okay, but
to me, my X-Men and Gotta Get Some Air don't make you not have objective tokens, but Rainbow Bridge
Gotta Get Some Air kind of does.
I mean, it says you can't contest objective tokens, but if he's holding something, he keeps it though, right? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It just means he can't contest secures, which can be a big deal.
No. Okay, fine, but you still have to answer for "To Me, My X-Men."
Because it's a real clunky movement.
I guess
X-Men are broken and Asgard's balanced.
Also that.
True.
Also, somebody sound clip Vince saying Asgard is balanced, because that'll be useful in the future.
Okay. Do we have anything else meaningful to say about this matchup?
I don't I mean, I feel like this was a good summary, and it was a solid bit over an hour, which is our
Yeah.
target length. But I feel like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It felt like a relatively straightforward primer about like the kind of stopping the bleeding problem. There's definitely the issue. I mean, Skrulls is sort of hard to tell. It's sort of hard to tell because obviously X-Men are very good at it, but also there's no way we can just account for every combination of those 4 pushes happening or not happening, like the 16 different ways that those binary things could run out. But like, I don't know. It seemed like, yeah, this is okay. And if this all happened, but you burned Rainbow Bridge on Thor to get back on the Witness, is that like good enough? Like,
that's great. Yeah,
just like
Yeah, because then that only puts you 2 behind.
Yeah.
But no, it puts you back
it puts you back to even. It's
no, because you don't get it. Oh yeah, right. No, because you scored 2 based on 4.
You're right. Sorry, yeah.
But even still, 2 to 4 feels a lot better than 2 to 6.
And
especially
also,
like slowing X-Men down matters. Like I'm going to win by getting to 16, so slowing that down is important.
Yeah. And also, if this happens, then Thor is not stunned. I mean, I guess Logan isn't either, but that's, I don't know. That feels like something too, since
for sure.
Thor is one of the big candidates for first activation next turn. That feels more interesting, right?
Yeah, I think
the other thing that I learned out of this is I don't think Angela meaningfully changes what would have happened here.
Well, it's just Logan doesn't have this attempt over here at all, right? Because assuming that your first activation would be to Angela grabbing a scroll and backing up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then Logan has to just take his one punch on the
person on the Witness. So the Witness would be even, probably without Rainbow Bridge, like, right? Because he's only going to get one punch, so it won't have a throw on it. So
yeah,
Logan just lands there and contests it, ties it.
I guess that does. Man.
Because the storm hop doesn't get you within attacking somebody on the extract, right?
I don't think so.
It doesn't let you 2-tap somebody.
No, it does.
It does, I think. Let's back everybody up to max distances real quick. But yeah.
Wait,
yeah. Wrong thing.
There you go.
Oh, I mean, she was already in the right spot.
Well, no, because Logan it was a perfect node, but not for this. It was for a different hop.
And then he gets 1 on top of her spot, right?
Yeah, so he has double tap.
He actually can.
Okay, so I think you're right now. Now that I see this, I think you're right that it probably doesn't meaningfully make a difference.
This dude's a big jerk.
It slightly does, right? The difference being without Enchantress there, then you can go with Valk first, right? So like when we were back, she was here, right? He was here. Enchantress is now Angela and is back here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we were at this situation at one point, right?
Where it's Valkyrie or Thor left to activate?
Yeah. So then if Valk does the same thing, but before Thor, right, where she wanders over to Voodoo.
Yeah.
To be safe from Mystique. Now Logan doesn't get attacks.
Yeah.
Why doesn't...
Or no, sorry.
Yeah.
Right? You still have last activation.
Yeah.
Mystique does the same thing, and then Logan just goes last. So it's just...
And I think the other thing here is we don't have the safe pickup with Voodoo.
But why not?
Because we don't have the points to pay for Voodoo.
Yeah, Angela's 1 more point.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that was the other thing. Yeah, it's just like, okay, if we do think Angela changes things, what do we give up? And the answer doesn't look great.
It's got to be Voodoo. We can't be affiliated any other way.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, yeah. All right. So I think this is kind of the line you take, and you do everything you can to be like, I think also knowing how strong X-Men are on turn 1, that like the goalposts are to be tied going into the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Chasing 2 is like totally acceptable and ground you can make up.
Especially with this team, right? Like we talked when we were drafting it, the Voodoo and Enchantress team especially the voodoo, is there to like swing things back around later, right? Like your goal is to not lose for long enough that you have time to win, which I think ends up being a lot of teams' plans into X-Men, right? And so chasing 2 when you're the team who has priority is going to keep priority and has these characters, I think feels totally fine, right? But I do think, if you're going to try to do something similar to this, you need characters like these 2, or I think Rhino and Pyro also get big shouts here because they're very good at enabling getting VPs back in your favor, right? Like I actually think doing this but Rhino instead of Voodoo is kind of interesting, but that's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing. Sounds cool though.
But like I'm only happy with this because I have the control and steel pieces and Enchantress and Voodoo. If those were just 2 other random 4 threats, this could feel a lot worse, right? But yeah, I mean, you got to be thinking about how you're going to win, how you're going to turn the game around, because you will not get a lead into X-Men unless things have gone incredibly well.
Cool. Nice work,
All right.
everybody. I think we've officially...
Do we have a second setup, or are we...
No, we don't have a second setup.
No.
Cool.
Episode 3 is episode 2 only. Think about that one for a little bit.
You mean episode 2 is episode 3 only?
No.
Very different.
Yeah, very different. All right, but yeah, I think just to wrap this up for the YouTube homies, I think this is we've officially not instantly lost on turn 1, and therefore have succeeded in our goals. And I hope this was helpful for everybody, and we're going to do more of these soon, but probably after these guys get back from LVO, obviously. So.
It would be pretty hard to do one before LVO.